Hello guys, in this session we are going to see the major components of converter stations of HVDC system. Before that, I would like to summarize about the last session. In the last lecture we seen the types of DC links. There are three types of DC links. First is monopolar, second bipolar, third homopolar link. Monopolar link has one conductor, bipolar link has two conductors, and homopolar link has also two or more conductors. Monopolar having one conductor usually of negative polarity, and bipolar link has two conductors, one is of that positive and other is of negative polarity. And in homopolar it has two or more conductors of same polarity, usually it is of negative. Because of desirability of operating DC link without ground return, bipolar links are most common used. Homopolar link has the advantage of reduced insulation cost, but disadvantage of earth return outage, the disadvantage. Incidentally, the corona effect in a DC line are substantially less with negative polarity of conductor as compared to the positive polarity. So let's see the converter stations. The major component of a converter or HVDC transmission system are the converter station where convergence from AC to DC, that is rectifier station, and from DC to AC, that is inverter station, are performed. A point-to-point transmission requires two converter stations. The role of rectifier and inverter stations can be reversed, resulting in power reversals by suitable converter control. A typical converter station with one 12 plus converter unit per pole is shown in this figure. You can see here a numbering is done with 1, 2, 3 up to 6. Just I am going to explore that components with the help of this diagram. First is nothing but 12 plus converter. You can see here this is a one converter unit. In that, this converter unit is of 12 pulse converter. This first one number is shown with the 12 pulse converter. Same here also. Both are 12 pulse converters. Next, second is nothing but transformer. Before converters, a transformer is interconnected with the AC system. Obviously, transformer is working on AC system, so it is connected at AC side. The left hand side of this converter is of AC side and right hand side of this converter is nothing but DC side. And transformer may be of three phase with star star configuration or star delta configuration. And same as for lower side, before this converter, transformer also connected with the configuration of star delta and star star configuration. Third is smoothing reactors. Here you can see on the DC side, a component like inductor is connected, that is nothing but smoothing reactors. Fourth is DC filter, which is connected on DC side across the converters with this neutral point. Next, fifth is tuned AC filters. Tuned AC filters is connected on AC side before the transformer connections. So it is connected with shunt connected transformer, shunt connected filters, which is a combination of capacitor, inductor, and the resistor. It is nothing but tuned AC filters. And sixth one, it is also AC filter, but it is of high pass, or you can say radio frequency, RF, high pass RF AC filters. These are the main components of converter stations. This is about one converter unit. Obviously, one converter unit may be act as inversion or rectification. Depends on the control of converter. Let's see converter unit. This usually consists of two three-phase converter bridges connected in series to form a 12 pulse converter. As shown in this figure, you can observe that here upper side two valves are connected in series and lower side two valves are connected in series. It's showing that this converter is nothing but 12 pulse converter. For 12 pulse converter, the number of valves accommodating total of 12. For 6 pulse, it is with 6 number of valves. The total number of valves in a such unit are 12. The valves can be packaged as a single valve, double valve, and quadri-valve arrangements. Each valve is used to switch in a segment of AC voltage waveform. The converter is fed by the converter transformers connected in star or star delta arrangement. In this figure, so you can observe that this converter, 12 pulse converter, is fed through the transformer, and this two transformers with the configuration of this is of star star and this is of star delta. The valves can be cooled by air, oil, water, or freon. Liquid cooling using deionized water is more efficient and results in the reduction of station losses. The ratings of a valve group are limited more by permissible short circuit currents than steady state load requirements. The design of valves is based on the modular concept where each module contains limited number of series connected thyristor levels. Valve firing signals are generated in the converter control at ground potential and are transmitted to each of the thyristor in the valve through a fiber optic light guide system. The light signal received at the thyristor level is converted to an electrical signal using gate drive amplifiers with pulse transformers. The valves are protected using snubber circuits, protective firing, and gapless surge arresters. Converter transformer. This is one of the major component of a converter station for HVDC transmission system. The converter transformer can have different configurations. First is three-phase, two winding. Second is single phase, three winding. And third is single phase, two winding. The wall side windings are connected in star and delta with neutral point ungrounded. On the AC side, the transformers are connected in parallel with neutral grounded. The leakage reactance of the impedance of the transformer, leakage reactance of the transformer is chosen to limit the short circuit currents through any valve. The converter transformers are designed to withstand DC voltage stresses and increased eddy current losses due to harmonic currents. One problem that can arise is caused by the DC magnetization of the core due to unsymmetric firing of valves. In back-to-back links, which are designed for low DC voltage levels, and extended delta configuration can result in identical transformers being used in 12 pulse converter units. This results in reduction of spare capacity required. However, the application of extended delta transformers is limited. Next is filter. There are three types of filters used. First is AC filters. These are passive circuits used to provide low impedance shunt paths for AC harmonic currents. Both tuned and damped filters arrangements are utilized in the converter stations. Second, DC filters. These are similar to AC filters and that are used for the filtering of DC harmonics. And third is high frequency or RF filters. These are connected between the converter transformers and the station AC bus to suppress any high frequency current. Sometimes such filters are provided on high voltage DC bus connected between DC filter and DC line, and also on neutral side. Reactive power sources. Converter stations require reactive power supply that is dependent on the active power loading, that is about 50 to 60% of active power. This is due to the fact that current drawn by a line commutated current source converter, which is designated as LCC, can only lag the supply voltage. Fortunately, part of this reactive power requirement is provided by AC filters. In addition, shunt or switched capacitors, synchronous condensers, and static VAR systems, that is SVC or STATCOM, are used depending on the speed of control desired. Next is smoothing reactor. A sufficiently large series reactor is used on DC side to smooth DC current and also for protection. The reactor is designed as a linear reactor and it is connected on the line DC line side, neutral side, or at intermediate location. And the last one, DC switchgear. This is usually a modified AC equipment used to interrupt small DC current and employed as disconnecting the switches. DC breakers or metallic return transfer breakers that called as MRTB, metallic return transfer breakers, MRTB, are used if required for interruption of rated load currents. In addition to the equipment described above, AC switchgear and associated equipment for protection and measurement are also part of the converter station. This includes DC current and voltage transducers. Next is planning for HVDC transmission. The system planner must consider DC alternative in transmission expansion. The factors to be considered are cost, technical performance, and reliability. Generally, the last two factors are considered as constraints to be met, and minimum cost option is selected among various alternatives that meet the specifications on technical performance and reliability. For submarine, cable transmission and interconnecting two systems of different nominal frequencies, the choice of DC is obvious. In other cases, the choice is to be based on detailed techno-economic comparison. The considerations in the planning for DC depends on the application. Two applications can be considered as representative. These are long distance bulk power transmission, and next one, interconnection between two adjacent systems. In the first application, the DC and AC alternatives for the same level of system security and reliability are likely to have the same power carrying capability. Thus, the cost comparisons would form the basis for selection of the DC or AC alternative if requirements regarding technical performance are not critical. In the second application, AC interconnection possesses several problems in certain cases. For the same level of system security and reliability, the capacity of AC interconnection will be much more than that for DC, even ignoring the beneficial aspects of DC power modulation. Thus, the choice for DC interconnection will be based on the following considerations. The first is small fluctuation in voltage and frequency do not affect the power flow, which can be set at any desired value. And second one, the system security can be enhanced by fast control of DC power. Having settled on DC link for interconnection, there are three possible configurations for interconnection. These are nothing but first, two-terminal DC link. A two-terminal transmission where each terminal is located at a suitable place somewhere within the network and connected by a DC overhead line or cable. As you can see here in this figure, first figure, two-terminal DC link, which is interconnected at a DC line. So it is called as two-terminal DC link. Next is back-to-back DC link along with AC feeder. A back-to-back HVDC station, which is also called as HVDC coupling station, located somewhere within one of the network, and an AC line from the other network to the common station. You can see here in this figure, back-to-back DC link along with the AC feeder. In this system, the link is connected in any one of the network, and it is along with a single AC feeder. And third one, a back-to-back station located back-to-back DC link at border. A back-to-back station located close to the border between the two systems. This is a special case of that above. So you can observe here, the links are connected at the border of the two networks. These are nothing but different types of links to overcome the problems regarding interconnections. In the choice between the first and the second configuration, it is to be noted that converter costs are less for common coupling station, and the AC line costs are greater than the DC line cost. If the distance involved are less than 200 km, the second configuration is to be preferred. If the short circuit ratio SCR is acceptable, then the third alternative will be the most economic. The specification and design of DC system require an understanding of various interconnection between DC and AC systems. The interruption or reduction of power in a DC link can be occur due to DC line fault and due to AC system fault. The speed of recovery from transient DC line fault is of concern in maintaining the integrity of the overall system. The power flow and stability studies are used in this content or session. The recovery of DC link from AC system faults is more complex. The depression of AC voltage at the inverter bus can lead to commutation failure and loss of DC power. The DC power is ramped up on the clearing of fault. Too fast an increase in DC power output can lead to the reduction of AC voltage and failure of commutation due to corresponding increase in the VAR demand. An optimum rate of increase in DC power can be determined from stability study. This is influenced by control strategy and system characteristics. The aspects also require a detailed study of the system interconnections are nothing but VAR requirement of converter stations and voltage stability. Next, dynamic over voltages. Third aspect is harmonic generation and design of filters. Fourth, dynamic damping of low frequency and subsynchronous torsional oscillations. And fifth aspect is carrier frequency interference caused by spiky currents in walls at the beginning of the conduction due to the discharge of stray capacitances and snubber circuits. The converter's control plays a major role in this interconnections or interaction, and the control strategy should be such as to improve overall system performance. Digital simulation and HVDC simulators are used for planning and design studies. Thank you very much.